license number 117266. If you've never listened to Rush Hour Radio, the goal of the show really every week is to excite, educate, and empower Charlotte teens to make sound financial decisions. And we do that by bringing on expert contributors and special guests in our community. We talk about all kinds of stuff. It could be financial planning, it could be homeowners insurance policies. It might be home inspections or even real estate. We do quite a bit of real estate. We actually don't even talk that much about mortgage. That's kind of the ironic part because I'm a mortgage professional. Nonetheless, that's what the show is about. So what I'd like to do is just first introduce our special guest and expert contributors here in the studio, and we'll roll out the show throughout the morning here and lay out our topics and give you all kinds of great information. If you're thinking about buying and selling real estate, you give us a call. If you're thinking about refinancing your mortgage or purchasing a need to get qualified, you give me a call. If you're thinking about inspecting your home before you sell, or when you go to buy, you give us a call. That's what we're here for. Support us local in the community while you can, while we educate you. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce our special guest, Pamela Smith, Keller Williams. Pamela's in the house.
Hello.
And technically, it's Red Fox Realty Group, powered by Keller Williams. Is that
Powered
right?
by Keller Williams.
I don't know.
Right here, don't do it. 6-foot redhead. There you go.
So, Pamela, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
As I always say, when Preston has been here in the past, we'll introduce him as an expert contributor, what I call repeat offender. Preston Sandlin is in the house with Home Inspection Carolinas. So, Preston, we're going to start with you. You've been on the show here for probably a couple of years now.
Right.
Appreciate your patronage. And so why don't you share with our guests in the studio here this morning that are listening, what is you do, your company does, and maybe how you can add value to them.
Awesome. And we're also known as Inspector Crazy Pants.
Inspector Crazy Pants, that's right.
The redhead really. I was going to be the house whisperer, but that domain was $10,000.
Wow.
And Inspector Crazy Pants was $10, so the price was right.
I wanted to be the Lone Ranger.
I like that.
That one was taken. I was like, man, that's the Lone Ranger.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, what we do is, Chris, as you know, most people, their home is the biggest investment of their lives. Not everybody, but for a lot of people, myself included, if you look at my net worth, it's mostly my house. So we want to protect that investment. What you don't want is, someone to, buy a house and when they first get in there, they're hit with they got to replace the furnace or the roof or something like that. We just want to know, we want to advise people and educate people on, what they're getting into so that they make that necessary price arrangement or whatever it takes in the negotiation process.
what is it that you do for the company? Tell our listeners.
Me, I just wear crazy pants. And
That's right.
No, well, I started as a one-man shop where I did it all. I did 3 inspections a day. I'd be, 7 o'clock at night. I'm under a crawl space. But eventually, I hired people, and we have multiple inspectors. They're well trained. Chip manages and educates all the inspectors. I do a lot of the educational stuff, a lot of CE classes and things like that. And I don't have
marketing genius.
Yeah, well, I don't have to.
That's right.
I don't have to crawl. I don't have to crawl in a crawl space as much as I used to. My dad told me, said, "Son, if you can do something nobody else wants to do, going under the crawl spaces, like you can get paid good money." And since he was a mortician, I figured he knew what he was talking about.
There you go. Wow, cool. So, all right, cool. So if somebody needs to get a hold of you throughout the show, they want to utilize your services, what's the best phone number for them to reach out?
Sure. It's 704-542-6575, or they can go online at homeinspectioncarolina.com.
Homeinspectioncarolina.com. All right, cool. So, Pamela, let's roll to you. Like I said earlier, you're with Red Fox Realty Group, powered by Keller Williams. You've got 7 years experience. I know you predominantly work the South Charlotte market. Is that right?
Yes, I do.
7 years. How's that been?
It's been awesome,
Yeah.
and I've learned a lot. It just depends on what part of the selling experience during that economy that's happening. So I've been through a lot.
Okay, so tell our listeners, how did you get started in real estate? Because it's a rare day that you find somebody that said, when I was in high school, I took a little inventory about what career I should choose, and
So it's your parachute, and you come out realtor or home inspector or mortgage lender.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those
And
really
yes,
aren't
it's
even on the
happening
list.
now.
So
Crazy.
what got you where you're at?
Well, it was just time I wanted to make a career switch. I have a lot of kids, 6 to be exact.
Wow.
Yep, they're all pretty much
Got
grown at
the
this
Brady
point.
Bunch.
I do have the Brady Bunch, that's right. It's a lot of activity, and yet I still wanted to have something of my own to do, and so I kind of started part-time. I thought I'd dabble in it,
Okay.
and once I started, I realized, okay, this is really a serious
Yeah,
business.
there's no dabbling in real estate.
No dabbling in real estate. Usually when you
No
dabble,
crying
you
in
leave.
baseball and no
Yeah.
dabbling in real
You
estate.
dabble, you
That's right.
leave, or you do a really poor job a lot.
A really poor job, and so I just went full-time with it. I absolutely love what I do.
Awesome. And then what is it that you like most about being a realtor?
Honestly, just talking with the people and finding out what their goals are and helping them achieve them. Sometimes it is to list that house, sometimes it's not. And so it's really a matter of listening to them, finding out who they are and what they need and what their reasons for buying or selling are, and then directing them in the right place. I love connecting people. So to the right inspector, the right home person, the right, home improvement. So mingling, kind of like crazy pants here. I like to mingle and be able to connect them to the right people. It's a great rewarding job.
Well, and you know, the value, one of the great values of really good realtors is their knowledge of vendors. You know, and all.
You're right.
It's one of the things they really
Absolutely.
bring to the table.
It is surprising to how much real estate, when we see stuff on the internet and on TV about OfferPad and Zillow, but I think a lot of those companies don't underestimate the power of the
Yes.
relationships on a local level.
Absolutely.
And working with people that you know, like, and trust. And you mentioned something earlier about, you know, when you do real estate, sometimes the decision is not to sell, right? And a good experienced realtor like yourself should do the right thing and say, you know, maybe now's not the right timing,
Yep.
or you're not going to make the profit you were hoping for, and let's table this for another time. I had a client this last week that reached out. He had reached out a few weeks ago and wanted to refinance. I had done this purchase a few years back, and he called me back and said, let's move forward. And I ran all the numbers for him, and I said, dude, in order for you to get $12,000 at closing, your payment's going to go up $350. I said, I don't feel good about recommending you
Right.
just because you want to put new floors in your house. I think we need to go at this another approach.
Right.
And I actually told him, no, I don't feel comfortable doing your loan, right? And that's partially what the show is about, is bringing
Doing
in
what's best.
experts like you all to show people that I showcase and highlight people that are well experienced and versed in their specific industries. And then we support each other, right? We
Exactly.
promote. And then hopefully when people call, they say, you know, I listened to that radio show and I heard about Pamela. She seemed awesome. I want to sell my house out in Union County, and let me give her a call.
Well, you know, people like to do business with people they know, like, and trust.
That's right.
Exactly.
You know, it's not a ride from the airport to the hotel. It's a very personal thing. The house is where you make your memories, your kids grow up. You know, and I want somebody that I know, like, and trust. And I want somebody who will tell it to me straight. She may tell me it's not a good time for me to sell or something or buy, but I'm going to remember that she was straight with me. So when it is time, that's going to be the first person
Yeah,
I
we just
call.
keep the relationship going until it is the right time.
It's a relationship business. It's a very personal thing. It's not a ride to the airport from the hotel.
That's right.
Right.
It definitely isn't. All right, so another question I have for you is, tell me about your thoughts on the real estate market in the greater Charlotte area.
Well, one of the things that are happening, we've actually been knowing it for about a year and a half, 2 years now, is that the market is shifting. It's balancing
Okay.
out.
So shifting, but you said balancing out. Okay, tell me more about that.
So we definitely feel it in the luxury first, which I do quite a bit of, when it's been a seller's market. It's been that way for quite a while. As you said earlier, you mentioned that we've been warning people for 10 years that
Yes.
the mortgage rates are going to hike. They're going to hike.
They're going to go up. They're going to
And
go up.
sellers, they've gotten a little complacent. I don't think they really believe us. And yet, for the last 2 years, I've been saying it's starting to shift. I'm starting to feel it. It's coming your way. Prices are lowering, evening out. We're not in the point where, with the higher end homes, we're not to the point where we have multiple offers and multiple people and way over appraising. It's actually down to where appraising is, and buyers are a little more conservative because they really want to get the right house for them. So as it goes down and balances, I can't say it's going to crash like it did before, but
Yeah,
it's
and I-
definitely balancing.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't see it crashing.
No.
No, I call it more of a leveling out, because
Sure.
what we have seen, and you probably agree with me, is really for the last at least 3 consecutive years, we had a lower than normal inventory, okay, or
Crazy.
supply of homes on the market.
Absolutely
And
crazy.
for our listener, what I'm really saying is a good healthy market is a 3 to 6 month supply of
Yeah.
homes on the market.
That hasn't-
And literally the last couple of years, it's been 1 or 2 months
Or two.
supply.
Yeah,
And so what that's created is this demand, right? We have more demand than we have supply.
A
Right?
little
Remember
bit of
supply and
artificial
demand.
price. Yeah,
Right,
that's
so
supply and
right,
demand.
right. So
Yeah.
now it's starting to level out to where we now have maybe closer to 3 months supply, and that will shift. It's hard to target because every day it changes a little bit, right?
right.
But it's starting to move from that 1 to 2 months back to 3 to 4 months, and that puts us in a normal market. So then we have a good number of buyers and a good number of sellers, and it may mean that prices don't go up as aggressively as they have.
Things
but-
got to catch up.
Right, but it doesn't also mean that it will drop.
No,
right?
it's not.
Well,
Especially if you're in the price range where most people buy homes.
well, and,
Right.
and I'll say this: the difference, because we were around in 2007, 6, 7, 8, 9 when
Yeah.
it was really bad.
We were working together a lot.
Oh yeah, and,
Short sales were the key.
yeah. But the difference, we had a correction then too. But the difference then was the entire economy tanked.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
the economy is still going strong,
It's
so
Very strong.
I don't see it being like that at all. I think it's just a correction. It's been smoking hot for so long
It's
that at some
normalized,
point
yep.
it's got to
Yeah.
normalize.
It depends on that price point too. So, like you said, the average price home at 250-ish, give or take, that home is still smoking hot. It's
Right.
still very, very low inventory. When I get one on, I put it on the market and it's gone in a day. So, it just depends what that price point is, but it will normalize all the way through.
Yeah, so we're getting there. So, folks, we've got way more topics to be talking about. We're actually going to come back and talk about 7 key strategies to selling your luxury home. So, if you know anybody that wants to sell their big fat house in Charlotte, this is a great show for you to listen to. Pamela says she'd like to take that listing too.
Absolutely. Call me.
But nonetheless, we've got a lot more to talk about, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.